Good afternoon, beautiful spirits. This is your girl Z, aka Inspirational Love 20. I'm coming to you all to talk to you all about how did I know that I had a gift. I tried to do a video earlier, go live, but I just looked and I had no audio. So I guess that was just a test for me to get my nerves out the way. So to give y'all little tips on how did I know, I'm going to give you three stories. One when I was 6 years old. 6 years old, I used to go over my uncle's girlfriend house. One of my uncle's girlfriend house. Me and her daughter played all the time. We got along. And one night, I was over there, and I had what I thought was a dream of four men walking down the hill, walking towards the house, towards the bedroom door. There was two men went one way, and the other two men came and started tapping on the window. And I felt like it was so real to me. So the next day, I go and I tell my uncle about the dream that I had, as I thought was a dream that I had. And he says to me, he was like, "Oh, well, that couldn't have happened. Yeah, it had to be a dream." That's what he said. Yeah, it had to be a dream because that didn't happen last night. So I was like, okay. So that night, went back to sleep. As soon as I go to sleep, it's two men tapping on the window. And it's two men that's up here at the front door. So my uncle is starts calling out our names, and we go into the living room. My uncle calls the police, and it was actually four men who have escaped the county jail and was trying to get into the house. So after that, my uncle came and he told me, he was like, "Look, don't tell anybody that you told me about your dream the night before because they won't believe you. And I don't want them looking at you like you need to be on medication." And I said, "Okay." I was confused. And I love my uncle, so he could have told me the sky was green and I'm looking at it blue, and it would have been green to me because that's what my uncle said. So I never told him anything. I never told nobody anything. So as I got older, I remember one day my uncle was like, "Hey, are you still having those dreams? And are you still seeing things?" And I was like, "Yeah, but you told me not to tell anybody." He was like, "Well, you can tell me." So I was like, "Okay." So I used to tell him things I used to see or whatever the case may be. And so he used to be like, "Okay, well, I just want you to know that I'm going to be the only person that you'll be able to tell this to." I said, "Okay." Second time I slipped and told somebody. I was a senior in college, and I was on our way to Houston. We was on our way to Houston, and we was about to move there. Me and my roommate, college roommate, we were about to move there, but they had a sorority function. So we are at the Galleria Mall, and this woman walks up to me and she says, "Do you believe in psychics?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I don't. No disrespect." And she was like, "No, I just want you to know that you're destined for greatness. And no matter what anybody says to you, you're destined for greatness. Whatever you put your mind to, you're destined for greatness." And I said, "Okay, thank you." And my friends is looking at me all crazy, and I'm like, you know, they was like, "Well, what is that about?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe, how some people are. They just have, different people have their different beliefs." And left it at that. You continue to go shopping. Later on that day, I tell a male that I'm talking to, I was like, "Hey, this happened to me at the Galleria Mall. Do you believe in people having visions or dreams of something happening to them and them seeing it before it happens. He was like, yeah, they call it like deja vu or whatever. I was like, no. Like, I can tell you that I knew I was coming on this trip. I knew this woman was coming to say this to me. I just didn't know where the location was at. But everything that didn't happen on this trip, I seen it before it happened. Now, he was like, well, yeah, deja vu. And I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't want to die. I was like, see, this is why my uncle told me not to say anything to anybody, because they're not going to understand it unless they see it themselves. So I still didn't know what it was because my uncle never got in depth with me about it. He just told me that he believed me and not to tell nobody else about it. At the time, my uncle was taking medication because people used to think he was crazy. So, so I think that's why we were close, because I can feel their energy. So I knew the woman was coming to say something to me. I knew exactly what she was coming to say to me because I had already seen it. And the crazy thing about it is she knew that I knew, but she also knew that I wasn't comfortable and I wasn't, okay with it. I have had many dreams and seen many things, and instead of telling people like, hey, I seen this happening to you, I used to just tell them, hey, you might not want to do that, or don't do this, or this person ain't like this, or this person is like that. And they thinking I'm just giving friendly advice, and then they'll be like, hey, such and such did this, or such and such did that, or that's what happened. And I'll be like, oh, I just knew. But I know that I seen it before it actually happened. So that was my gift. I have dreams sometimes. Sometimes it's not even me, what's the name? It's just like me having dreams. And then 2 days later or a day later, it'll happen. The last thing I knew vividly is when, last story I share is when my grandmother passed away. I knew she was passing away. And I think it was God up here, like prepping me for it because he knew how close me and my grandmother was. I used to just have dreams all the time, and it just would be like, it's coming, but you're going to be okay. It's coming, and you're going to be okay. And I could see her vivid as day. And the day of her funeral, I knew exactly what she was going to wear. But I was getting prepared for it because her and my oldest daughter have had a bond just like me and her did. And I knew my oldest daughter was going to take it hard. So I'm doing this video and I'm about to be 40 years old. And I'm basically doing it to let people know that you're not by yourself. If you have a gift, own it. Love it. Cherish it. Thank God for it. If you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in, universe, higher power, I don't judge. I don't make a heaven or hell for nobody. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I do believe in God. So I know it is scary. I know it is. I know it's scary. I know people are not going to understand. And it's not meant for everybody to understand. Back when I was going through this, I was born in 79. I had my first vision, 86, 85, 86. Where I know that was my first time up here doing it. And I just know having that conversation. I was 6 years old. I know exactly when I realized my daughter had the same gift that I had, my eldest. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like I said, own it. It took me 34 years to be okay with it, and I'm still having, still have my days where I'm like, okay, like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. But it's here to stay. I'm here, and I'm living proof that no matter when you decide to step out and be okay with it, mine was 6 months ago, where I was like, you know what, it is what it is. Own it and embrace it. And then I started researching more about it and seeing that, other people had it. I don't know about anybody else in my like in my family. Like I said, I knew about my uncle. I have four of them. One is deceased, but I know about it with my uncles on my mother's side. So it kind of was a peaceful, and then basically I was okay with it. But now I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I embraced it. I just thought I'd share my story. Hopefully this will be a blessing to some. If it resonates to you, and it resonates. But it's my raw story. It's my raw truth. So many blessings to you. Be careful how you treat people. Be careful what you say to people, because words do hurt. And just know that, and be a blessing. Y'all have a blessed day.